Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Bald Brad Show. It is Thursday, August 22nd, and you know what that means. We are just one day closer to this November 5th election, folks. And let me tell you, you got to get out and vote. The Democrat Party cannot be in power any longer. Everything is crumbling around us, folks, and we're going to be covering day 3 recap of the DNC, and it was a freaking clown show, man. Like, the endless lies was unbelievable. And don't worry, we got a lot of footage for you, and we're not even gonna be able to cover it all. I'm not exaggerating this, you guys. We could probably do a 3-hour podcast on showing you clip after clip after clip of the lies, the hypocrisy, the gaslighting. Unbelievable. We're gonna break everything down for you, folks. You came to a good place to get the news. Always appreciate the Patriots in the chat. We got to give shout outs. Miriam, Snarf, Mizzy. We got Pat in here. Inappropriate Kitten. We got Danielle, Michelle, Kathleen, Jason, his service, Secret Agent. We got everybody rolling in here in the morning. Let's kick it off with the show. And let's just get into a little bit of kind of good news here. It's not good news in terms of what happened to this lady, but there was a lady that passed out in the crowd, and Trump takes a moment and actually leaves the stage. He walks around the glass, the bullet proof glass, and goes up to her and gives her a hug and just checks on her. Now, the Democrats will take probably that small little clip that we're about to show and go, oh, he paused. Oh, look, he's having some sort of mental problem. Oh, look at what's happening. Oh, he's just walking off. He's ignoring his people. Like, they'll gaslight us, right? They'll come up and fabricate some bullshit story about this man, even though he's walking to make sure one of his supporters are actually okay. So here's Mr. 45.
Love you, sir. The president is in my hands.
Just a nice bottle of water there. That's nice. Media won't show that though, you guys.
All right, well, we heard him ask doctor, trying to clarify what the crowd was asking for, and it appears that call was answered, and the former president has wandered over there with Secret Service in tow, John, to check out what's going on.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, those Secret Service guys, big upgrade for Trump, huh? Sitting there swarming around him, make sure he can't be shot in the back. Then they sit there when he turns around, they take the other side. You got the other guys on the other side of him as well, just sitting there combing the crowd. Oh, fuck you up. Hey, where was this before? Probably one of the most hated people. A lot of people want this guy gone. We don't. It's amazing. Where was that? Where was that type of control when the guy got shot in the head, right? Instead of that lady going, fuck, what's going on? What is this? Oh, it's a gun. Shit. Right? And we got some other news here before we jump into, you know, the recap of day 3, which if you're just joining us, day 3 was such a clown show. Oh my God. There's a reason, you guys, why I just couldn't stream the DNC. I know you understand, but it's cringe. It was hard to watch, gaslighting the crap out of their own people, just blatantly lying to all of them. There's nobody with a thought in that entire building. Well, we got some wild stuff here, and it just shows the Democrat Party's agenda along with these big tech companies. Republican AG warns Apple about their entrepreneur program that excludes white and Asian men. Right, that sounds illegal. Yeah, it's because it is. And they've been doing this for a while, not just Apple. I'm talking about a swath of corporations and companies. Just not hiring white people or Asians or whoever it may be. The universities were doing this with affirmative action. You know, if you're Asian, you had to score a certain level above everybody else in the SAT just to get into the same institution. But somebody that scores way under you all of a sudden gets in along with less grades, right? A smaller GPA, whatever it is. We talk about it in the book. So a coalition of 14 Republican attorneys generals warned Apple on Wednesday that its discriminatory entrepreneurship program excluding white and Asian men may be illegal. Gosh, why would that be? Like, where do we get this thinking from? I don't know, maybe because it's kind of racist and sexist and just kind of lumping that into discriminatory behavior. This was led by Attorney General Patrick Morrisey. Republican officials sent a letter to Apple after it opened up applications last week for its entrepreneurship camp exclusively for minorities and women. Because white people and Asians don't struggle in this country, you guys. Like, we don't have problems either. The letter addressed to Apple Senior Vice President Kathleen Adams says the application stipulations may violate federal discrimination law. What's weird is there's a constant theme from the Democrat Party to put in like segregation back, like we see in the dormitories at university systems, or discriminate against people of different races in terms of affirmative action. That doesn't happen at the university system. That happens in corporations as well. And it's usually white and Asian people that get effed over. And what's weird is I'm still waiting for all the Asian people to come out and be like, this is bullshit. What the hell? I don't understand it. Even though all those discriminatory practices are taking place across the United States, Asian people are still doing phenomenal. So shout out to Asian people for doing great in this country, even though you have actual, maybe evidence of systematic racism taking place against you. I don't actually believe in systematic racism, but if I were to make the case that there were one, I would say affirmative action's up there. And what sporadically the Democrat Party's doing with big tech and these corporations, kind of like we see here. Yeah, it might be just might be a little illegal. Now, what's weird is you have to kind of filter through the media to find what the true Democratic Party's agenda is coming up. And I'm talking about, like, you really got to comb the internet to really find it, because they'll let things slip. They'll do like a Freudian slip here. And during this Democrat meeting, it's with the Black Caucus of the DNC. And they say, quote, it's a little hard to hear, we have 70 days to act right, like be good. After 70 days, we can go back to acting crazy. I'm not kidding. Here's their agenda.
We got 70 days to act right, y'all.
I think I just blew out your ears. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry about that, Patriots.
We got 70 days to act right, y'all. That's right. Now, after 7 days, we can go back there and crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play that again for you, because I want to make sure everybody heard that. So everything's going to seem all calm now. And then, then we go back down to burning businesses. Black Lives Matter can flourish again. Antifa can beat the shit out of, normal Americans, conservatives, Republicans, journalists like Andy No. We can go back to, price controls.
We got 70 days to act right, y'all. That's right. Now, after 7 days, we can go back there and crazy. Right?
They just laugh about it. Let's start looting things again. I'm not just talking about black people. I mean, white people do that too, right? I mean, everybody does it. That's part of the Democrat Party. Just because of the Black Caucus doesn't mean that's why I'm bringing that about. Because I want to emphasize that, because you have these psychos and Media Matters and the left go, look at this racist. He's just attributing stealing and stuff because of the Black Caucus and black people. There's a stereotype about them stealing. No, I don't care about race. If you're stealing, I don't care who you are. You're a scumbag. Don't steal. Don't break the law. Now, like I mentioned, you have to comb the internet for this stuff. You know what I mean? It's not out there on the news. There's a reason. I love this stat here. This came from Doge Designer. And check out this image, folks. We'll do that for you. The legacy media's election interference. Now, Trump made a claim, and I think it's a hard one to prove in court, but I think with anybody with half a brain could say, it does make it seem like the media is doing some sort of election interference, because I don't know, 84% of Harris's coverage from ABC, CBS, and NBC, meaning the legacy media, is 84% positive. And then Trump's coverage was almost 90% negative. People don't watch hour-long news stations, right? So meaning odds are, if you were to flip on ABC, CBS, NBC, odds are you are going to see nothing but positive news for Kamala Harris. And in the short amount of time that you watch the news in your busy day, you're going to almost be guaranteed to hear nothing but negative news about Trump at any moment in time that you flip on that news. That's a problem. That's manipulation. That's a little bit of propaganda that we see in like countries, I don't know, like China, Russia, India, like these types of places. Not in the United States. But, you know, here we are. Here we are. Folks, this is why I really mean it. Like, we got to get out and vote. Like, people don't understand that Trump, his agenda, they only understand Kamala's going to fix the border. Kamala's going to sit there and fix Social Security. She's going to fix this or that. If everything was so great being ran by Democrats, why are you saying you need to fix everything? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no thought. Like, hey, they keep saying that they're going to fix wages. They're going to fix the economy. They're going to fix foreign policy. They're going to fix the border. They're going to fix the drug problem. They're going to fix the crime. They're going to fix our grocery prices. They're going to fix energy. You know what I mean? It just keeps going down the list. Like, well, if it was so great the last 4 years with your ass in office, what is there to fix? Why would you have to fix anything? Why would Trump be running a Make America Great Again? Like, if things were so great, you'd be like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and keep America great again. No. These idiots, they'll still vote for him. They'll still vote for him. Now, if you have friends and family, you guys, that need some truth, bring them in right now. Like, send my link to your friends and family, really, because this next news story, you're going to blow your lid. You're going to blow it, you guys, because my stats were wrong. Really. This has to do with illegal immigration. You guys, when I say I was wrong in my number, I was giving you like the number that I had most recently. Well, the number that I'm about to give you was just updated. I hope you're all sitting down. If you're in your car, and I'm not exaggerating this one bit. If you're not sitting down or pulled over, you're going to want to. I'm going to keep it together because this is a wild thing. I'm not hyping this up. You guys have heard me talk about how Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have lost 85,000 children that have come here illegally. Just, they don't even know where they are. We had a whistleblower come out about a month or two ago and say a lot of them were sold off in the slavery and the sex trade. Yeah, that number, what I'm about to give you, blows that out of the water. It's not even close to 85,000. Check this out. DHS made an effort, or their lack of, I guess, to locate missing unaccompanied alien children. Auditor says in urgent alert. What number does that say? The Department of Homeland Security does not know the location of 300,000 children. I've been saying 85,000 because that's what the number we had before. Not even close. Sound like Joe Biden. I'm Batman. Children who came to the country illegally and were sent to live with adult sponsors. The department's inspector general said in an alert flagging the urgent issue for immigration and customs. Yeah, you think? You think? ICE must take immediate action to ensure the safety of UCs residing unaccompanied children in the United States. Without an ability to monitor the location and status of unaccompanied children, ICE has no assurance these children are safe from tracking. Trafficking, exploitation, or forced labor. Why are Democrats not talking about this? This is not a Donald Trump thing. No, sir. Democrats, please explain to me. We're for the children. We just care. No, you don't. You want to lop off their genitals. You want to sit there and manipulate them, gaslight them, and brainwash them in the education system. You want to teach them how to use butt plugs and dildos at a second or third grade level. You want to teach them how to masturbate in front of people in a second grade classroom in New Jersey utilizing cartoons, which we've shown here in the past. You want to put drag performers and these people stripping in front of little kids that are using your hard-earned money that's supposed to be for lunch, tipping them in their thong. Don't give me this crap that they're for children. All the while you have 300,000 have gone missing, and that we know some of them have been sold off into trafficking, exploitation, and forced labor. Is nobody in here going like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, nobody cares according to the Democrat Party, I guess. Hey, again, if you just secured the border, would you still have these exploitations and labor? Of course you would. The forced labor and the sex, of course you would. Except they wouldn't be going from the United States and being sold off, right? They'd be sold off in wherever country they're at, which is terrible within itself and maybe something we should talk about as a globe, but we won't. We won't. Because you have these elites that are doing shady shit. Now, for the first night at the DNC, we finally got the numbers in terms of viewership. And let me tell you, it's not good. DNC viewership on first night down from 2016, and it was down 22%, dude. Yo, they lost a quarter viewership. Its biggest speaker was Joe Biden, the most popular president in American history. And nobody turned on the television to watch this guy. This comes from Axios. Nobody wanted to see Joe. Nobody wanted to see Kamala. These are the most, at best, prestigious people the Democrat Party could find. And like I said, there's nobody that's voted more for Joe Biden than any other sitting president. He's popular, you guys. He's so popular, nobody showed up to his own event. Everybody went sleepy. Sleepy for Joe. They said, look, I can't stay up late for Joe, so I'm going to go sleepy in reminiscence of him. Now, if the 85,000 children prior being unaccounted for, and then now transitioning to 300,000 unaccompanied for. So if you're just joining us, the Biden-Harris administration just lost 300,000 children. No idea where they are. Well, they've also been bullshitting the numbers. Now, if you're a longtime viewer and you join us every morning, what I'm about to present to you isn't necessarily news, but the numbers are. The Labor Department overestimated job growth by more than 800,000. Not even close. Not even close. Well, why'd they do this? You have to pretend that everything's fine. We're going into election. You got to sit there and lie to your audience and Americans to make it seem like things are fine. It's okay. No, we'll sit there and overinflate it by 800,000. Nobody's fucking gonna know because Democrats are idiots. They'll believe it. That's really, I mean, I really do mean this. That I do believe. They push this BS to American citizens, Republicans and conservatives, be like, I don't know, like it doesn't. I'm kind of looking around the economy. It doesn't seem like there's much growth. It seems a little exaggerated, in my opinion. And then turns out, we're called conspiracy theorists and idiots, fake news, cheap fakes, deep fakes, all this crap. Well, hey, look, the numbers come out. We're like, oh shit, we were right. And not were we right, we were really right. And then you have the Democrats going, look at all the jobs they're producing, 16 million. Woohoo! This is great. Government figures for job growth over the past year have been significantly revised. That's an understatement. I still can't believe this. After being overestimated by more than 800,000 jobs. The Democrats like, she's gonna fix everything. Yeah, sure she is, you idiots. Sure she is. She can't even get the fucking job numbers right. She's gonna fix everything. She's gonna fix the border. Lost 300,000 children. She's gonna sit there and tell us the truth. Overestimated jobs, 800,000. Tell these people are not. It's weird, and it shows you that people have different realities, I suppose. So this comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The job growth throughout the 12 months, 818,000. Holy Lord. A downward revision of more than 500,000. And remember, I just want to point out that I forget who the guy was. Oh, goodness. Now I'm dropping the ball on this. I want to point out that they actually, when they came out with these job numbers, the original reporting that we did here on the show was showing, God, it's the Economist guy. His name's slipping my mind. Jeremy Powell, I think was his name. He comes out and he goes, we overestimated it. Like he actually came out on TV and goes, yeah, they're inflated was the quote that he used. They're inflated. The numbers are inflated. You think? Like, over a little inflated, I would say so. I would say so. The fact you had to revise it by almost a million jobs, I would say if we rounded way up. What's going on, Craig? Good morning, Patriots. Again, I see you in the chat, folks. Thanks for joining us. And always appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out in the live chat. If you're watching and you're not in the live chat, hop on your cell phone. We got a lot of Patriots in there. We'd love for you to join us. So go in there and chat it up with them. We got a great community here, a lot of regulars. So I wanted to bring that all to you. And here's the actual numbers from the Trump War Room. So total jobs, negative. I don't know how you do this. Well, I do. You just pull it out of your ass. But manufacturing, negative 100,000 jobs. Trade, transportation, utilities, negative 100,000 jobs. We have professional business services, negative 350,000. You guys, this is just like some idiot Democrat just fucking pushing numbers in. Hey, Kamala Joe, what'd you want me to put in for trade and transportation and utilities? They throw a number. That's like over 100,000 than what we got. You sure? I don't think you mean that. You want me to put in 2 more zeros? 2? Like the election that we did in 2020? You want me to put in an extra 0? Oh, sure, no problem. Folks, this is just, it's lying is what it is. It is lying. That's all this is. And I think Simon Atiba, who is the African journalist, the black journalist that's in the White House press briefing, who's been shadow banned basically, like he had his press pass revoked. He said on Twitter that this is not like a misrepresentation. This is not like a revision. This is just lying. They were just lying to you. And for some reason, the Democrats just want more lies. They're cooking the books. That's exactly what they're doing. Here's CNN.
The job growth has been far weaker in the U.S. than originally reported. That is according to new data just coming in this morning. Let's get right to CNN's Matt Egan. What's the headline, Matt?
Jim, 818,000 fewer jobs were added during the period between April 2023 and March of this year. We were bracing for these revisions to come out and show that job growth was weaker, and that is what we got. This is probably on the high end of the expectations. Some of the forecasters had been saying probably around few 100,000 jobs. Goldman Sachs had said maybe up to 1 million. So this is on the higher end. We're seeing some of the biggest revisions downward in sectors that include manufacturing, leisure and hospitality, professional and business services. Of course, some sectors actually added more jobs than were previously known. Private education, health services, transportation and warehousing. We look at the market, not a massive reaction from the market. I think that's in part because this is somewhat backwards looking data. What investors really care about is what happens next. And these numbers out today, they do support the idea that the jobs market has been weaker than we previously thought and that it has been slowing down. That makes sense because we know the Fed has been working hard to slow the economy down as it tries.
You notice that there's no mention of Joe or Kamala in any of this. Y'all notice that? No mention. If this was Trump, Trump's economy's down 16%. The market's reacting in a negative way. People are losing their shit. They're selling off left and right. Yeah, this revision we had, it's historical. We've never seen a revision like this in any lifetime. Yeah, you know, it is an increase, and it's kind of in the ballpark of what we thought the revision would be. I mean, look at the market's not really reacting. Investors don't give a shit. Really, you don't think people give a shit that you fucking lied to them and that they sat there and invested in an economy that maybe wasn't performing as well as, I don't know, anybody else thought? Yeah. Can you sit there and go to an advisor, you guys, and him going, yeah, you know what? This is doing great, but behind the scenes, he knows it's bullshit, and he's telling you to invest in something that's not real, it's fictitious, and it turns out that you lost money on it? That's probably a really messed up thing to do.
To fight inflation. So I do think that the fact that the economy had more than 800,000 fewer jobs than previously known supports the idea that the Fed is going to start cutting interest rates next month. The question still remains whether or not it's a 1/4 point or a larger interest rate cut. But either way, it's going to lower mortgage rates, credit card rates, and car loan rates. Jim?
Yeah, all of these data points are very important, and you have to think it's all being taken into consideration for the.
Yeah, no mention. Again, astonishing, right? Astonishing. There's no mention because, again, let's go back to the image. I want to pull this up. This is what it's about. This is what it's going to look like. And the closer we get to the election, that 84% positive coverage on legacy media for Kamala Harris is only going to go up to about 90 to 95%. Trump might move to 95% negative. No mention of Kamala Harris there because it paints a bad picture. It makes her look terrible. And you know what? She is terrible. She's absolutely terrible. Michelle says, Brad, did you see yesterday when Kamala Harris went to Pittsburgh? She brought in vans of actors, a restaurant kicked out people, and eating and drinking. Yeah, Michelle, she, I said this before, she actually posts, the DNC, the Democrat Party, they post, like call sheets for actors, and they're paying them about $150. So we see that in Hollywood. Here's Trump commenting on what we just talked about with the jobs.
Before we begin, I want to address the massive scandal around the revised job numbers that were just announced this morning, a little while ago, just before I came up, I got to see them. And it really isn't a revision. It's a total lie. Total lie. There's never been any revision like this. They wanted it to come out after the election, but somehow it got leaked. It got leaked. Government leaks too. The Harris-Biden administration has been caught fraudulently manipulating job statistics to hide the true extent of the economic ruin that they've inflicted on America. The new data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that the administration padded the numbers with an extra, listen to this one, 818,000 jobs that don't exist. So they said they existed, and they never did exist. They built them up so that they could say what a wonderful job they're doing. No, we've never had numbers like this.
Exactly correct. We all see it, but for some reason, Democrats are going, what's the big deal? They just changed the numbers. Well, when you sit there and you have an entire party that's bragging about, oh, you know, the economy's great, we're creating jobs, 16 million, everything's fine, when in actual reality, it's not. And I know Democrats, you don't want to deal in reality. The left, you definitely don't want to deal in reality. Well, what do you mean by that? Folks, when you start pushing the idea that a man can become a woman, there's no reality left there. I mean, you are gone. You're not even on Earth anymore. I don't know what planet you're on, but you ain't here. So they get called out. One of the few times you're actually going to see this happen. This comes from ABC News at the DNC. Calls her out. Here we go. Well, this is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Tries to like, oh, I showed you the Trump clip for a reason. Because it plays into this.
When you hear that, do you potentially think that this new numbers could be a liability for this campaign?
No. When I hear that, first of all, I don't believe it because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything truthful.
It is, though, from the Bureau of Labor.
I'm not familiar with that.
When you hear that,
convenient. Oh, so that's why I showed you the clip before. That's the clip they're watching of Donald Trump saying, it's all fabricated, it's bullshit. And she's like, well, you know, I don't believe it because Donald Trump said it. It's a remarkable thing. Just because Donald Trump says something, it must be false. All the while, that's nothing but your party has been doing this entire convention is lying, gaslighting, lying to the American people. And I love how that reporter goes, well, it is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Oh, well, I'm not familiar with that. Of course you wouldn't be because it goes against your agenda. It's bullshit. That deserves a cuss. Yo, when you inflate numbers over 800,000, the Democrats want people to vote for Kamala, folks, and it's all based on vibes. It's not based on facts. It's not based on reality. It's based on feelings, joy, happiness. Things are going to be better again. Case in point right here.
The Democrats want people to vote for her based on a vibe or an attitude and not really think all that hard about what it would mean to implement the kind of policy agenda that she has mostly stood for in her career. And Anderson, there may not be a debate about who can be more joyful, but there has to be a debate about who can get the country back on the right track when three-quarters think it's off on the wrong one. I think the Democrats want people.
So let me get this straight. If there's any Democrats like Dan that we saw the other day, you weaseled your way in here. Explain to me the lies about the border, the lies about the missing children, the lies about the Afghanistan withdrawal, the lies about leaving $1 billion of military-grade equipment to the Taliban to the point where they actually did a military parade a couple weeks ago, but the media didn't really want to show that because it looks icky. You lied about, again, the job growth. You lied about the economy. You lied about inflation. I mean, we literally keep going down. That's all they've done. we're in a transition phase. They changed the definition of what a recession was to fit the narrative that we weren't in a recession. They've been saying, things are going to get better. Nothing's on fire. I mean, the most egregious one amidst of all those would probably be when MSNBC was standing there when Minneapolis was ablaze. Like the whole fucking city was up in blaze, on fire. And the guy's like, everything is fine. We're out here on the streets of Minneapolis. And, well, it's mostly peaceful. As people are throwing like Movtel cocktails at the building that's on blaze behind them. 100-year-old black business. It looks good. It's mostly peaceful. It's a little hot out here. My back seems really burning right now. Maybe because the building's on fire behind you. Mostly peaceful, my ass. Yeah. They're going to sit there and clean up the streets for us. I would really, you know what I should do? You know how Matt Walsh is going into these conventions playing it off like he's a leftist? I almost want to go to the Democrat Party. I'll shave my beard because none of them actually have any testosterone. And I'll sit there and wear like a pride hat. I'll be doing a service to the Patriots. And I'll wear like a specialized shirt like Bernie. And I'll go in there because I just want to sit there and just like be a part of that community for a second, And just like look at their reactions, right? And somebody's sitting on stage bullshitting them straight to their face, and them just sitting there going, can you believe this? Look what she's gonna do for us. Right? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's sadistic to get a kick out of that, but I think it'd be kind of fun, right? Eric Birch, thank you so much. Eric, I believe you donated yesterday too, $5. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything over at Rumble. We're good. Okay. I missed Dizzy's yesterday. I really apologize. I don't want to miss you guys. It's your hard-earned money going to us here on the show. Really appreciate it. And I say us because we're a community. It is just me and Secret Agent helping out, doing some community service. Now, Axios comes out. And again, I know I'm going to go back to this, you guys, but it's important. There's this here, 84% positive on legacy media for Kamala Harris. I bring that up because you have this from Axios to defend Kamala Harris's price control plan. Like they're going out and going, how can we make this not look as bad? In the same way of going, the job numbers, don't worry about it. They just inflated it by like 1 million, not a big deal. So it receives a brutal community note on X. So Axios reporter rushed to the defense of Vice President Kamala Harris, as they've all been doing, and criticized the proposed to control grocery prices on Tuesday. Axios markets correspondent said, one of Kamala's most controversial proposals is a ban on grocery price gouging. Critics are conflating the idea with Soviet-style price controls, calling the plan communism, which was actually the thumbnail for our show the other day. If banning price gouging is communist, then the U.S. went Marxist long ago. Most of us live in states that already have bans in place. So here's the community note. X slapped the community note on Axios post, pointing out that the same author called it price controls. This is so great. When the UK considered a short-term policy in 2023 to push retailers to agree to standardized prices on certain groceries like milk and bread. In 2022, it gets better. It just gets better. In 2022, another Axios reporter, Matt Phillips, referred to the G7's pledge to limit how much Russia could profit from oil sales as price controls. I'm so sorry. These people are idiots, guys. They're just idiots. As if we can't go back. Like, Democrats aren't going to look for this. Like, the left aren't going to look for this, right? They're not going to find this. Right? They just read it like, oh, Axios is support price gouging. Great. Or we could fix that, price controls. They get called out. Thank God for Elon. Am I not right? Thank God for Elon for giving us Twitter to expose these people, because if we did it before, we would have been deplatformed. Hell, if you said a man was a man and a woman was a woman, this is all factual. You would have been removed and deplatformed from big tech media, social media sites like Twitter, Facebook, and others. Allegedly, we'll throw that in there. You also have Democrats have controlled White House for 12 of the last 16 years, and still everything is Trump's fault. Everything is Trump's fault. Like, you guys have been running the show for Lord knows how long, and you're going to sit there and blame Trump for everything. Of course they are.
In all these speeches, as good as they were, is that she's in the White House right now. Democrats have controlled the White House for 12 of the last 16 years. And for all of the talk about division and the problems in the country and people are hurting, Democrats have mostly controlled this country. Trump had it for 4. The Obamas and Biden had it for the rest of the time. And somehow, it's still all Trump's fault, and somehow she hasn't been at the center of it. So to me, that's still the glaring hole in this campaign that hasn't yet been solved at the convention. How do you explain all of the problems that will be solved by the person who is currently in there for the last 3.5 years, who is supposed to already be working on solving it? But in all,
they can't. They'll try, they'll spin it and morph it, but it's always been Trump's fault, you guys. I mean, look at cringe jean-pierre. Every time it's Republicans, it's Trump. He blocked the border fixing, all this other stuff. It's ridiculous. So you have Representative, and I'm going to be careful the way I say this, because there's Representative Mike Walz, who is a Republican of Florida. He got into a heated debate with CNN's Breonna Taylor on Wednesday over Governor Tim Walz, who is the now VP nominee for the Democrat Party, and his repeated efforts to embellish or even outright lie about his time serving in the National Guard. And we got that clip right here, a little bit of an exchange. Kind of long, but I think it's worth it.
Man hates Tim Walz's politics, despises them, is not going to vote for him, but he served with him and he knows his service. So why are you and other Republicans doing this?
Well, I want to be clear and correct your characterization. I'm not attacking his service. I served in the National Guard for 22 out of my 27 years, and I know plenty of guardsmen and reservists who served. Maybe they went to combat, maybe they didn't. They retired at a certain rank. Good on them, and I celebrate them. He said he's proud of that service. If he's so damn proud about it, why does he have to continue to embellish it and to lie about it? Because the facts are clear. He was promoted to sergeant major, but he didn't do the things necessary to retire at that rank and was demoted. And yet there is ample, hundreds of incidences where he is describing himself as a retired command sergeant major. That may sound like semantics to some, but to veterans, and particularly enlisted veterans, that matters. It's a lie. It's a misrepresentation and exaggeration, and he should account for that. Brianna,
kind of like a misrepresentation and exaggeration of the job numbers, but CNN doesn't give a shit.
You know, rather than defending these decisions, I wish you would interview him and ask him those questions, or that he would at least sit down and answer.
Great job, Mike. Because guess what? Tim Walz is in the building. Oh yeah, it's day 3. He's actually giving a speech that night. They can very easily chauffeur his freaking weird ass body up there to that podium and interview him, but they won't do it.
For these inconsistencies, the other thing we say in the letter is repeatedly he was described in front of him, introduced at events, described in articles as a combat veteran, and he did nothing to correct it. And he still today is doing nothing to correct it. Right. So he clearly implied and allowed others to describe himself as a combat veteran, and he clearly exaggerated his service, which he shouldn't have done, for political gain. That is unacceptable to the veterans community. It's an insult to those who did what it took to be a command sergeant major. And
he's correct. Absolutely correct. Now let's get to a little bit of last night. I know it kind of took a while, but guys, I'm telling you, there's a lot of news, and I want to bring it all to you. I really do. Like I said, if I could do a 3-hour show, I would. But we got things to do after this. So you had Bill Clinton, Oprah Winfrey. You got all these psychos coming out. And Bill gets chauffeured out here, I don't know why, and says he feels like there's a load off his shoulders.
We're going to walk out of here feeling pretty good, I think. We've got energy, we are happy, we feel like a load's off our shoulders.
Yo, yo. If you're Joe watching this, I don't know how you sit there and don't take offense to that. Like, they're just stabbing you left and I mean, it was enough, right, where they're just daggering him, shake, 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 to get him out, and basically performing a coup. And now they're just like basically talking shit about him, like the Obamas, the Clintons, and stuff like that. And here's Nancy Pelosi trying to keep her dentures in. Claims Comrade Kamala and Crooked Joe had one of the most successful presidencies of all time. I told you all it was a clown show. Last night, this whole DNC was a joke, a clown show. It was a freaking brainwashing event, gaslighting event, however you want to phrase it. Here she is.
On January 20th, 2021, with the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, we established one of the most successful presidencies of modern times. On January...
I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward that one.
Of modern times. Successful presidencies of modern time. The most successful presidencies of modern time. The most successful presidencies of modern time. The most successful presidencies of modern time.
There's no commentary needed. Mind you, this is the same lady that did not want to bring in the National Guard. Y'all remember this one?
Responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
Well, Nancy, because you declined it. That's why, you idiot. Speaking of idiots, you got, I don't remember this guy's name, to be quite honest. He's a Democrat, of course. Is it Bush? Anyways, will go down as one of the most consequential presidents of all time.
Could not have asked for a better leader to partner with than President Joseph Robinette Biden, who will go down as one of the most consequential presidents of all time. Last month, President Biden selflessly passed the torch to Vice President Kamala.
Selflessly, yeah, right, dude. They sat there, put that guy in a chokehold. Joe, either you give up or I'm gonna do it. He's like, let me go. Let me go. Joe, if you don't give up, put the pen in your mouth and sign it. You know? So, give me a break. I love how these people are all holding USA flag signs, but yet they think America is the most racist country that's ever existed, right? It's oppressing black people. You know, there's institutionalized racism and all these things, but all of a sudden they're for USA. While, mind you, that same party is burning American flags outside the DNC. He sat there and gave it up willingly. No, we fucking didn't. Give me a break. They'll believe it. He sacrificed himself like Jesus did. Come on. Q 1969 with a $10 coming out of the gates bigly for us. Thank you, Bob Brad, quickly becoming one of my favorites. Love the rants, laughter, and receipts. Thank you, sir. Greatly appreciate it. Really, I honestly love this community, man. Hanging out. You guys are freaking hilarious. Slurring Nancy. Look, she's slurring because she might be a little bit kicking something back, like little Miss Harris. A lot of rumors that Harris has been drunk a lot. Now, here he is with the lies. The same guy is going to tell you she's going to fix the border, and everyone's like, fuck you. Yeah, come on.
Kamala Harris and House Democrats will lower costs and grow the middle class. Kamala Harris...
but hasn't done it in 3.5 years. Matter of fact, she didn't even do it when she's in the state of California. She allowed freaking criminals to run roughshod over our streets. Rape children, murder people. Yeah, no, she's going to really fix this whole thing.
And House Democrats will fix our broken immigration system and secure the border. Kamala Harris.
I told you I want to be in the crowd with them. I want to be in the crowd. They'd be like, we're going to do it. It's like, yo, you idiot. You had all three branches of government when Joe Biden entered into office. You could have done it then. You didn't. You could have done all of this that you're promising. And they just believe it, man. They just believe it. Is there a business venture in this for us, you guys? You know what I mean? Like, is there a business venture that if these people are so willing to be manipulated, are we able to capitalize on this, like sell them something? There's something in it for us. I'm telling you, if these people are this deranged, we can make a lot of money off these people because we can.
And House Democrats will strengthen.
Am I not right? I mean, they're this deranged where they think, oh, we're gonna fix everything. It's gonna be glamorous after everything's burned down. I got a bridge to sell you.
The relationship between the police and the community.
All of a sudden, I care about the police, yeah. Burn down cities. Police brutality. They're killing black men in the streets. They're going and hunting them down. No, they're not. When they were shouting all that stuff, you guys, 19 unarmed black men were killed by police officers. Of that 19, some of them were trying to run over police officers. They're trying to grab the police officer's weapon. They grabbed the taser. So some of those were even justified, not all of them. So you could probably count on one hand the amount of black people that were actually killed by police in 2019. Like, you can name them. Wow. You are more likely to be struck by lightning indoors than you are to be killed by the police if you're an unarmed black man. Now they chauffeured out Catherine Courts, what's her name? Last name Mesto. And she said, Kamala and I also worked to protect the southern border. It was a lie fest. It was a clown show, all fabricated, scripted, bullshit.
Kamala and I also work to protect our southern border.
Well, we're going to play it again. I want to make sure we all heard that correctly, because you might have listened and be like, what, did she really say that? They don't believe it, Brad. I know, Bruce, they don't.
Kamala and I also work to protect our southern border.
I don't need to say anything about that. You know, and remember, these psychos say that we're weirdos and all these other things. You guys, they allowed, if you're just joining us, we do have some people just joining us. The old number of children that were lost by Kamala Harris and Joe Biden was 85,000. They upped the number. It's 300,000 now, 291,000 to be exact. Children gone. We don't know where they are. Not accounted for. Sold off into slavery, exploitation, forced labor, sex trafficking, all that stuff. Here this psycho is talking about giving children pornography in school systems.
It's not freedom to tell our children what books they're allowed to read. It's
correct. It isn't. And there's a lot of freedoms we don't give children. Like, we shouldn't give them the freedom to make decisions that are long lasting, like giving them puberty blockers or hormone enhancers that's going to sit there and, in a nutshell, almost castrate them or not allow them to sit there and produce children later on. And furthermore, you're asking them to lop off their genitals and their breasts at like 13 and 12 years old. And then you want to give them pornographic material at like a second or third grade level. It's a little disgusting and weird, but don't worry. They're going to sit there on the same stage and say, we're not the weirdos.
Democrats welcome weird, but we're not weirdos. Democrats welcome weird, but we're not weirdos.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's not weird to sit there and trans your kids, lie to the entire audience, manipulate job numbers, manipulate everything you push to the media, work with big tech companies to suppress conservatives and Republicans, work with big tech companies to put upwards of 85% of their legacy media outlets in a positive formation in terms of narrative about Kamala Harris. There's nothing weird about the fact that you're asking these people, meaning the LGBTQ community, to go out and do drag shows in front of your children and ask for tipping money in their thongs, in some cases completely nude. It's not weird at all to sit there and show cartoons to second or third grade level students in New Jersey on how to masturbate and use butt plugs and dildos, and in some cases actually show it inside the classroom in real form. None of that's weird, you guys. Yeah. The fact that they're sitting there with RVs outside the DNC performing abortions and vasectomies, yeah, that's not weird. Like doing freaking mass sacrifices of children. Yeah, no, that's completely normal. Yeah. No, it's not barbaric. It's not weird. Folks, this is the same party that had a parade like a few months ago. And there was, I know this is going to sound gross, and I just want to apologize to begin with because it is gross. There was these guys that were giving each other blowjobs in the middle of the parade, and they were sitting there peeing in each other's mouths. There's nothing normal about that. That's weird. Now, I understand there's some people into some weird kinky stuff. That's far off. Okay, that's the Democrat Party for you. Now, Tim Walz is the kind of guy you can count on. Yeah, tell the veterans that. Tell the guys that he's supposed to go to Iraq that too. Yeah, I just want, because I'm curious what they have to say.
Tim Walz is the kind of guy you can count on. Tim Walz is the kind of guy you can count on.
Somebody's going to clip that together for us. Somebody is. And so here is the man. Here's the guy that they chauffeured out, Tim Walz, and claims that Republicans will jack up the cost on the middle class. I told you, clown show, freaks, weirdos, lying, manipulating, gaslighting.
They'll start jacking up the costs on the middle class. They'll repeal the Affordable Care Act. They'll gut Social Security and Medicare.
Completely lie. Just a lie.
And they will ban abortion across this country, with or without Congress.
There was actually nothing he said there that was truth. In that 16-second clip, he did nothing but lie. Let's break it down.
They'll start jacking up the costs on the middle class.
Never done that, by the way. We actually sat there and implemented Trump tax cuts that saved the middle class about 3%. Mind you, we had a flourishing economy before COVID-19 hit, which was not Trump's fault. Meaning the middle class was actually extremely successful. And so completely BS. And real wages were up, by the way.
They'll repeal the Affordable Care Act.
As far as I'm aware, we already kind of did that. At least we attempted to do it, but you blocked it. The Affordable Care Act would actually lift up and maybe lower the premiums of middle class. So kind of contradictory. Maybe there was some truth into that one.
They'll gut Social Security and Medicare.
Trump already said he's not going to touch it. So I don't know why they keep pushing this. I mean, he couldn't be more clear. I'm not going to touch Social Security. And then they say, he's going to gut Social Security. I'm not going to gut it. I'm actually not even going to touch it. I won't even look at it. Oh, yeah, I won't look at it, Tim.
And they will ban abortion across this country, with or without Congress.
No, they've already come and said, hey, we would love more of like a federalist style of government that kind of like, Monroe talked about, or rather Madison, forgive me. And, just bring it back to the states. Let the states decide, meaning let democracy unravel the way it's supposed to and let the people vote if they want abortions or not in their area. God forbid you do something like that. God forbid. I know Democrats are no longer used to people actually voting for things that they want because nobody actually voted to nominate Kamala Harris to be the nominee, nor Tim Walz. So, no, they don't know what that looks like. Their democracy is now foreign to the Democrat Party. Let that one sink in. Democracy is now foreign to the Democratic Party because they don't perform democracy. So here's our VP coming out and doing the Lord's work for us.
Was a guy who was trying to defend. What I heard was a guy who was trying to defend Kamala Harris, and importantly, he talked a lot, Martha, about Kamala Harris's vision for all the things that she would do to lower the cost of this or that. And I kept on wanting him to say, this is what she's already done, because it's one thing to promise things in the future, but when you're defending the sitting vice president of the United States, day one of her administration is not 6 months from now. Day one of her administration was 1,300 days ago, and she hasn't done anything. It's been her policies that have actually caused so many of the problems. So these people can't get up there and offer all these promises and the vision for the future. They need to be able to say, we did this thing and it made your life better. And because they can't say that, it's a lot of rhetoric and a lot of generalized promises about the future. But that's not going to help the American people afford groceries or housing. In fact, Kamala Harris's policies have done the exact opposite.
I mean, it couldn't have been more perfect. It couldn't have been more perfect. And so, excuse me, I clear my throat. They want to cough in your face. Tim Walz comes out and he goes, I had 24 kids in my high school class and none of them went to Yale. And the reason why he's bringing this up is because he's attacking J.D. Vance for going from poverty to being extremely successful. It's a weird thing to say on stage, but it's a clown show. They're all weird.
24 kids. I had 24 kids in my high school class, and none of them went to Yale.
I don't know what that says about your class, but I don't know why you would throw that in J.D. Vance's face. And guess what? we actually have JD Vance commenting on that very thing that he said.
Well, what did you think about his comment? You going to Yale, so, calling you basically Mr. Fancy Pants Ivy League.
Well, as you guys know, I grew up in a very poor family. I was raised by a grandmother who didn't graduate from high school, much less from college. And I'm proud of the fact that she really worked her tail off, that she, went to her grave fighting to give me opportunities. I'm not ashamed of the fact that my grandmother sacrificed for me and I was able to live the American dream. I'm proud of what I accomplished. And more importantly, I'm proud of all the people who sacrificed in order to give me a better life. I would think Tim Walz would want to praise people who sacrifice to give their children and grandchildren a better life, not put me down. But I guess this is the political order of the day. He's going to attack me. That's fine. But I'm proud of my family. I'm proud of what they sacrificed to me.
Look, I mean, you should be proud. I mean, that guy freaking living the American dream, coming from nothing to being prosperous. Good for him. Now, the lies continue where Tim goes, we respect our neighbors and personal choices they make. Mind your own business. The same people that want to sit there and allow the IRS to look into your bank accounts. The same Democrat Party that wants to sit there and allow the IRS to sit there and just unravel various things of your personal information. The same Democrat Party that utilized the IRS to go after their political opponents. The same guy, matter of fact, that actually had his neighbors snitch on other neighbors regarding COVID-19 policies if they're adhering to it or not.
Because in Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and the personal choices they make.
No, we don't. And it's weird because if you were in Minnesota and you were a Trump supporter and you backed the police, your business would have been burned down. Personal choice, right? But when personal choice doesn't agree with the Democrat Party and Antifa and Black Lives Matter, they beat the shit out of you. Or they come to your home and they'll perform raids like we saw in Donald Trump and other pastors and congressmen and women. Wow, I can't even... why can't I think of the word? It's not for... I keep thinking Congress and congressional. Just churchgoers. The congregation. There we go. Holy Lord, why could I not get that out of my mouth?
Even if we wouldn't make those same choices for ourselves, we've got a golden rule. Mind your own damn business.
Yeah. Just that party always has wanted bigger government. Bigger government means that ultimately is going to create less liberties and freedoms for you in general from what we've seen in history. Why doesn't the government mind their own damn business? Republicans want smaller government. Republicans want the government out of our damn lives. Republicans want less policies and regulations so we can allow businesses to flourish. So don't give me the shit, Tim, that you want people to just mind their own business. You want to sit there and tax unrealized gains. Why don't you mind your own damn business on how much money I make? Why don't you get rid of the income tax altogether? That's a bunch of bullshit. So don't get me going on that, Tim. Don't get me going. And we'll end off with this. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear triples down on his vile comments wishing rape on a member of J.D. Vance's family. This is how disgusting these people are.
With my friends Joe and Mika, and you said, talking about J.D. Vance, you said, think about what some people have had to go through because of these laws. J.D. Vance calls pregnancy resulting from rape inconvenient. Make him go through this. Someone being violated, someone being harmed, and then telling them they don't have options after that. That fails any test of decency of humanity. That's what you said. J.D. Vance went on Twitter and said, what the hell is this? Why is Andy Beshear wishing that a member of my family would get raped? What a disgusting person. What did you mean to say?
Well, obviously, I'm not wishing harm on anybody. That's not who I am. What I was talking about is J.D. Vance will never have to go through any of this as a man. He will never be faced with difficult decisions. Yet he lacks the basic empathy to try to put himself in Hadley Duvall's position.
On with my friends Joe and Mika.
You can tell he just doesn't know shit about J.D. Vance. Like, he doesn't know anything. He could probably walk past and not even know who he is. Unbelievable. These people aren't for anything. They're not for your values. They're not for the things that you carry and hold dear to yourself. They don't do any of that. But somebody that does, folks, is Rumble, and that's why we use them as our main platform. They sit there and support small channels and even big channels out there. And they have exclusive apparel that has finally arrived. They are now offering 20% off all purchases right now in the Rumble store with the discount code DROP20. If you want to support the brand that is fighting for free speech, they allow you to say whatever you want in the live chat. No holds bar. For our First Amendment, this is the best way to do it. They have tees, sweaters, hats, plus much more. Check them out, folks. At least give them a peek behind the curtain of rumble.store and make sure to enter code DROP20 as the promo code to get 20% off your entire order, folks. They back free speech. Look what YouTube's doing to us. Somebody left a comment yesterday on my video and said, holy cow, this channel's being shadow banned. And I commented back, you are correctamundo, source. Oh, lordy, sir. We are being shadow banned like no other, but we're not being shadow banned on Rumble. They're taking care of us over there. Take care of them and support free speech by getting a little bit of merch with a nice little 20% discount. With that being said, folks, thank you so much for always joining us here. I want to give a shout out again to those that donated over at YouTube. Eric Birch with the $5 and Q1969 with the $10. Thank you guys. I greatly appreciate it. You really do help us here. And it all goes back in. We're trying to run an ad. We will see if YouTube, I tried formulating a whole video to run. We'll see if they let me do it. I will let you guys know hopefully tomorrow. Remind me in the live chat to keep you updated on us trying to produce ads. I put in 4 applications now for election policy, which they keep saying it's denied because election policy. Then certify the freaking application. Don't get me going. I don't need another rant right now. We were doing well, folks. I hope you have a great day. Just like Jason said, Patriots, you're awesome. Always enjoy it. We'll be back here tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of the Bald Brad Show. Take care of each other. Pray for this country. Even though you don't like Joe Biden, pray for the president, folks. We need him to make wise decisions for this country on behalf of this country. And again, I'll see you tomorrow here on the Bald Brad Show, Patriots. You know, the cup of coffee. Take care.